And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We have a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our episodes and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And then if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. We're on all of those. So however you want to watch or listen, it's Takes by Fans, folks. We've got you covered in multiple ways. Alrighty, today is Tuesday. We update our cash and trash list. We update our power rankings going into week 17. It's going to be a good one. And then we got to break down a little bit of Monday Night Football. Bills absolutely looking fantastic. I mean, folks, Josh Allen's looking like the real deal because he's got Stephon Diggs, and this man, oh my goodness, I don't even know what to say about the Bills. The turnaround of Josh Allen from last season to this season, I don't think I've ever seen that any time in the league. In the history of the NFL, I don't think I've seen a bigger turnaround than what Josh Allen is doing this season. Now, are we going to blame it all on him getting Stephon Diggs? Yeah, we can give, a lot of credit to that, but this man not turning the ball over. They've got the division lead. I mean, they're just putting up points on points. It's literally like Josh Allen is picking apart every single defense, and I don't even know what to say anymore. So, very well done by the Bills. We'll still cover that game. And so with that being said, let's jump right into it today. Got a couple of stories to talk about, and we'll start here. We kind of called this one yesterday. This kind of broke as we were going live in the show, but here it is. Dwayne Haskins officially out of Washington. Let's read this quote from him. This is what he tweeted out. Here we go. Dwayne Haskins: "My time with the Washington football team has unfortunately come to an end. I thank the team and the fans for the opportunity to play for the team I grew up rooting for. I take full responsibility for not meeting the standards of an NFL quarterback and will become a better man and player because of this experience." I mean, yeah, that's classic. I mean, this is a classy tweet. He said exactly what he had to say. He's taking full responsibility, which, I mean, he really has to. It's really all falls on him. They gave this man plenty of chances, and he just wasn't making the right decision. So glad that this man can own up to it. But, we all kind of saw this coming. I don't really think he's an NFL quarterback. I really didn't even like him in college, and he had a pretty good college career. So, unfortunate for Dwayne Haskins. I really don't see him being picked up by anybody. If it is, it's going to be in a backup role. Dwayne Haskins, he's not a starter in the league. It's unfortunate. Alrighty, what else do we got here? Jared Goff, he did undergo surgery. It was a little up in the air whether he was going to do it right now or kind of wait till after the season, but he met with another doctor. They suggested surgery now, so Jared Goff just underwent surgery. He's not going to be playing on Sunday. Not the best because they're kind of a win-and-in scenario for them. So who's their backup? Well, they got John Wolford. Ever heard of him? Because I have not. He's expected to play on Sunday, and they're also expected to sign Blake Bortles off of the Denver's practice squad to be John Wolford's backup. Now, you kind of have to start John Wolford. He knows the offense. He's been with this team, I'm assuming, for kind of the entire season. You can't really start Blake Bortles. He's on another team. He doesn't know your playbook. He's not going to get caught up. Now, is Blake Bortles a better quarterback than John Wolford? I would have to say yes, because I've heard of one and not the other. So, we'll kind of take a look at John Wolford probably on Saturday on our Saturday showcase. Let's see what this man's all about. Do we think he can win the game for the Rams? So we will look at him, not today, but we will look at him through the week. And, this is going to be interesting. Rams need a win here. Rams need the win. So we'll see what happens with them this week. Alrighty, and then we got a quote here by Kyle Shanahan. He says, quote, "I do believe Jimmy is going to be our quarterback next year," and I would assume the same. I mean, this man is good. Jimmy Garoppolo can play. I mean, Bill Belichick wanted him, and now he was with the 49ers, and he got them to a Super Bowl. I mean, look at the quarterbacks that has gotten teams to Super Bowls. Are there really any scrubs? Maybe the last one, Cam Newton. Maybe, but, in his prime, he was decent. So Jimmy Garoppolo can still play. He just needs to stay healthy. And I think the 49ers are right in keeping Jimmy Garoppolo on the 49ers. Whether it's a starter or a backup, the man needs to be on the 49ers. Alrighty, and I love to see this. Bengals running back Joe Mixon is now officially out for the year. That's fantastic. The Bengals aren't going to play him in a meaningless Week 17 game. Get this man ready, fully healthy. Get Joe Burrow ready, fully healthy. So next year, y'all can pick up where you left off at the end of this season, because they got, 2-3 in a row? They're looking good. 2 in a row, looking for 3 in a row. So love this kind of attitude here by the Bengals, not pushing anything. Let's just get into next season. We're already doing very good. This rebuild is on track for, a decent, small rebuild, short rebuild, and they're going to be competitors probably come next season, folks. Let's see what they do in the draft. If they get a little bit better, I would say they need to clean up their defense a little bit and maybe just find a better wide receiver, because I don't know. I do like T. Higgins. I think they got somebody there, but A.J. Green, I don't know about him. I don't know if he can kind of return to his form of kind of a number one, all-star wide receiver. So we'll see kind of what direction the Bengals go to in the draft. And, they got the coach, they got the running back, they got the quarterback. That's really all you need. Now just shore up that defense a little bit. Alrighty, carrying on. Bruce Arians says Buccaneers will, quote, play to win in Week 17. Quote, once again, we're going to practice and pretend like everything depends on it. I love this attitude. The Bucs haven't played well this season to kind of, earn a Week 17 bye, to rest everybody. Tom Brady still needs the reps with his wide receivers. The wide receivers still need to kind of still get into form and stay hot, because there's a lot of talent on this team, and Tom Brady can't get the ball to all of them, decently. I'm talking about like 5 to 7 targets or, receptions for all of his weapons. So they need to be ready when they're called on, and they all need to be playing on Week 17. So I love that, the Bucs are going to be starting all their starters. They're going to be playing to win. Love it, especially the week that they had last week where Tom Brady didn't even play in the second half. He still needs these reps a little bit. So, and this also kind of helps us with betting on the Bucs this week if we're going to like them, because we know they're going to be playing their starters and playing to win. So, love this attitude here by Bruce Arians. Alrighty, and I don't think this was ever, a question, but Eagles are going to be starting Jalen Hurts for the final game of the season against Washington. It's a meaningless game for the Eagles, but not for Washington, and the Eagles know that. They can play spoiler, and Jalen Hurts knows this, and Doug Peterson knows this. So, huge opportunity here for an Eagles win. Jalen Hurts is going to be playing to win. I think the whole Eagles team is going to be playing to win. They're playing for their future for next season. Jalen Hurts, another rep here against a division opponent. When they're going to be going at it 100%, it's going to be great for Jalen to get some more experience. What has he played? 4 games. So, he needs all the reps he can get, because I think this is going to be the new starter in Philadelphia come 2021. Alrighty, and then, we kind of mentioned it at the top of the show. I mean, man, this man is so freaking good. Stephon Diggs leading the NFL in receptions with 120, and he also leads the NFL in receiving yards with 1,459. I mean, folks, this man is all over the place. And do we have to, compare the Vikings to the Bills? Last year, Stephon Diggs with the Vikings, they got to the playoffs. Now this season, he's with the Bills. They're in the playoffs, and now Minnesota's not in the playoffs. I mean, do we need any more correlation? I think Stephon Diggs is really the only answer there. The man's great. He needs to be talked about in, top 5 wide receivers. And the way that Josh Allen is giving this man the ball, he's going to his weapons, and the weapons are paying off, folks. Leading receiver, or leading NFL receptions leader and leading NFL receptions yard leader. I mean, folks, it's kind of crazy what Buffalo is doing and what Josh Allen is doing, and the way that Stephon Diggs is still playing. Oof, man. Watch out for Buffalo, folks. They're real good. All right, and then the last thing to talk about, I mean, isn't this crazy, folks? Look at this. In the AFC, one of these teams will not be making the playoffs. Titans, Dolphins, Ravens, Browns, Colts. I mean, look at these records, all 10-5 going into Week 16. Tight race. One of them will not make it. Who do we think? Well, just look at this picture. I think one of these things is not like the other, unfortunately, and I think it's the Colts. Phillip Rivers, he's showing his classic Phillip Rivers. I can trust Tannehill. I can trust Lamar Jackson. I can kind of trust Baker Mayfield, but not really too much. And I really can't even trust Phillip Rivers anymore. So, unfortunately, I think the Colts are going to be this one team out of the 5 teams that will not get the playoff spot. Alrighty, let's kind of cover a little bit of basketball from last night. Here we go. Hawks, Pistons. Hawks win by 8. This was one of our moneymaker picks. Pistons plus 10. I mean, they cover, so very well done. We loved all those points. Now, we are going to have to kind of shift off the Pistons. We were kind of early adopters into the Pistons, kind of right before the season started. We did like the Pistons. I like Derrick Rose. I thought Blake Griffin would kind of reemerge their careers this season, but they're starting off 0-3. Not looking good. They did cover the 10, so we do appreciate that, but I think we're going to start falling off a little bit on the Pistons, and well done by Trae Young. I mean, this man is just going absolutely bananas here in this first couple games of the season. 3-0 for the Hawks. The man just went, 29 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Watch out for this Atlanta team, folks. They're going to be a dark horse in the playoffs because Trae Young is finally coming into his own, and this is what I'm talking about. Rookies really do not make an impact. I think this is Trae Young's 3rd season in the league, and now, they're finally developing wins. And this man was good his rookie year as well. So, I mean, he's just getting better and better. But I'm telling y'all, rookies cannot make a huge impact year 1 or really kind of even year 2. So, well done for the Hawks, starting 3-0. Alrighty, Nets lose again, dropping 2 straight. I hate to see that. You hate to see that. They lose against the Grizzlies 116-111. That's why we're a little shaky on betting this Nets team. We still love their talent, but there needs to be a leader. All the players, because of Kyrie and Kevin Durant, don't respect Steve Nash as a head coach. So, that's not going to be the leader. We know Kyrie's attitude, not too much leaderish. And we know Kevin Durant, his attitude, not too much leaderish either. So it's got to come from somewhere, and that's going to be the big kind of knock on this Nets team. Who is going to be the leader? They've got the talent. Nobody's doubting that, but they're 2-2 for a reason, folks, and they just lost against the Grizzlies. Not a good look there. Let's see. Did Kevin Durant and Kyrie even play? Let's just make sure we're not, talking wild right now. They did not play. So look at that. I mean, look at who played here. We got, they didn't even play. So rest, I mean, that's kind of another reason why we kind of have to wait for 10 games into the NBA season, because people are already taking rest and time off and injured. It's just, with the NBA, that load management is kind of lame, if you ask me, especially early in the season, in the shorter NBA season, and y'all still need some load management. All right. Y'all do y'all. All right. Let's keep it going here. Jazz, Thunder. Jazz get the 1-point win. Very well done. Jazz kind of, picking up where they left off in the bubble last season. This Thunder team, kind of nobody's even left kind of on that roster that was in the bubble. Chris Paul's gone. Steven Adams is gone. So Jazz get the win here. Very well done. 110-109. All right, Rockets still looking very not good. James Harden can't do it all himself, and they've got no supporting cast. They dropped their second game. Nuggets, Nikolai Jokic is the real deal, folks. He's still carrying over. He's still having a fantastic season. They get the win, 124-111. And the Blazers beat the Lakers. Once again, Lakers, what's going on with them? Losing, they lost against the Clippers. Now they're losing against the Blazers. I get the Blazers have some good talent. I mean, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Carmelo Anthony, I get all that, but to lose at home against the Blazers, not a good look for the Lakers here. Lakers get the loss, 115-107. Well done by the Blazers to start 2-1 for the season. Very well done. All right, there's a lot of NBA games on tonight, and we've got a lot to cover in the show, so we're not going to do kind of our moneymaker. Check our website, takesbyfans.com. We'll post our moneymaker kind of after the show of what we like today for our moneymaker for the NBA. Alrighty, so with that being said, let's just jump right into it. Our main topics of today are cash and trash list for the NFL and our new power rankings going into Week 17. So let's kick it off here with the cash list. This was the cash list going into Week 16. We had the Dolphins defense, Derrick Henry, Travis Kelce, Jonathan Taylor, Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, Aaron Jones, Ryan Tannehill's Dolphins running back committee, David Montgomery, DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Herbert, and Alvin Kamara that we just put on because of his 6-touchdown performance. We couldn't wait till Tuesday. We had to do it the moment it happened. So that's why Alvin Kamara is already on this list. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through this list, see, if anybody can stay on this cash list. We got to reevaluate anybody, and then we'll go to some additions here because we do got kind of a lot of additions here. So we do have a couple of additions here. So let's get right into it. Let's reevaluate this Dolphins defense. So let's go here to Dolphins versus the Raiders for this game. And, the Dolphins defense gave up 25 points. They didn't really force a turnover until, like, the very last play of the game. And I think that's their special team, so I don't even know if it's still going to kind of count in that category. But very well done by the Dolphins offense for kind of overcoming, a wild scenario here. Ryan Fitzpatrick comes in and, uplifts us for the win. So can't really give the Dolphins another cashless spot here. I mean, they gave up a touchdown in the fourth quarter. I mean, and I get that this kind of pass interference play, or was it on this? What was this pass interference? Did they cap it off with the touchdown? Yeah. Okay. So they give up a touchdown on defensively in the fourth quarter. Not very good. And then they kind of give up this pass interference penalty for the field goal. Now, I hated this call. I watched it over and over again. I thought it was a bogus call. But at the end of the day, it was called. So it has to go against the Dolphins defense, unfortunately. So they give up 25 points. Close game. Never really got a turnover. A little bit, breaking in the fourth quarter defensively. Not great. You give up 10 points. So not the best. So, maybe a decent performance by the defense, but not a cashless performance. So we are going to have to take the Dolphins defense off. What a run there, though. What a run there. Alrighty. Now let's go to Derrick Henry. I mean, they lose. He did kind of get held in check. I mean, he rushed for under 100 yards. What is it officially? 98 yards. He still rushed a good game. I mean, he still did good, but, it did not translate to a win. And it wasn't, that cash, like 134 yards and a touchdown. So it's still a good game, not a cash game. Unfortunately, Derrick Henry has to come off, and, another good run by him. I think he was on here for like 2 weeks. Very well done. All right, let's go to Travis Kelce now. He's the next person that we do have to reevaluate. And the Chiefs, I mean, they only put up 17 points. Now, Travis Kelce, he was still the leading wide receiver and still scored a touchdown. But, I mean, overall, 7 receptions, 98 yards, a touchdown. They get the win. He wasn't, a game-winning touchdown. This was still a solid performance by Travis Kelce, don't get me wrong. But we don't think that it's, cash. We don't think it's a step above good and great. So, we are going to take Travis Kelce off the cash list. A lot of people coming off this week, folks. A lot of people coming off. Alrighty, now let's go to Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Colts. Big on this Colts running game, but they ended up losing and not really doing anything in the second half. And then you got Phillip Rivers throwing interceptions. Not great. So here we go. Jonathan Taylor. 18 carries for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. I was very, very close of leaving this man on the list, but at the end of the day, they kind of got away from the running game in the second half a little bit. They lost the lead. They lost the game. This was a very, very solid performance. If he broke 100 yards, maybe we can give it to him, but we don't like keeping players that just lost on the cash list. So unfortunately, very good game by Jonathan Taylor. He did, a lot, pretty much all that he could. Unfortunately, Phillip Rivers got in the way a little bit with that interception, so we have to take Jonathan Taylor off the cash list, unfortunately. Alrighty, Stephon Diggs, do we even need a check? I guess we do. Oh, we didn't even talk about this game. Let's talk about this game a little bit. Bills, Patriots. I mean, an absolute blowout by the Bills. I mean, we took Patriots plus 7.5. We thought the division, we thought Bill Belichick's defense would kind of clamp up a little bit, but time and time again, Josh Allen is just carving apart defenses. I mean, look what this man did. 27 of 36 for 320 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, no fumbles. Love to see it. So a turnover-free game by the Bills and Josh Allen, absolutely fantastic. The running game was pretty good. Running back by committee, we can get behind this. 12 carries for Zach Moss for 57 yards and a touchdown. Devin Singletary comes in, 10 carries for 36 yards, no touchdown. So running back by committee, we're over 20 rushes. We're very close. Are we at the 100-yard mark? Very close to the 100-yard mark if they didn't cross it. Did not look like they crossed it, though. 94 yards, is that what it is? All right, now who is Josh Allen throwing to? We all know this. I mean, Stephon Diggs, 9 receptions for 145 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, yes, we absolutely keep Stephon Diggs on this cash list. Let's quickly talk about the Patriots offense. I mean, it struggles. Look at this. Cam Newton, 5 of 10 for 34 yards. That doesn't get it done. He ends up getting benched for Jarrett Stidham. He comes in 4 of 11 for 44 yards. So, it's not Cam Newton. It's not Jarrett Stidham. It's just the totality of this Patriots offense. They have no real weapons. The one thing that they do have Sony Michel. So he ran 10 carries for 69 yards. That's kind of, what he does. And then they had J.J. Taylor, 6 carries for 38 yards. So, running back by committee for the Patriots, got it done. Cam Newton rushed it 4 times for 34 yards. He did score a touchdown. Classic Cam Newton rushing. He's got 5 passing touchdowns this season, folks. 5. Now you may be saying, oh, he's a dual quarterback. He's a dual threat quarterback. So obviously he's going to rush for a lot of touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes has 2 rushing touchdowns and 36 or 38 passing touchdowns. So you can do both. But Cam Newton chooses not to do both. Unfortunate. That's why he's not going to be a starter in the league next year, unfortunately. So really not too much to talk to. Let's kind of focus in on this Bills drives in the first half. Their first drive, field goal. Second drive, touchdown. Third drive, touchdown. Fourth drive, touchdown. Fifth drive's end of half, not even a full drive. They ran 1 play for 5 seconds, so we're not even counting that. So 4 drives in the first half by the Bills, and they're scoring touchdowns on all of them except for 1, but they're still scoring points on that 1 drive. Absolutely fantastic. Now look at their second half drives. First drive's a touchdown. Second drive's a punt. Third drive's a touchdown. Fourth drive's a punt, and then that's the end of the game. So they were still putting up points, and look at this touchdown drive. Look at both of these touchdown drives. 8 plays, 75 yards, going the length of the field, and then look at this one. 10 plays, 85 yards, and 7.5 minutes off the clock. Absolutely well done. Then they go into the fourth quarter, 38-9, and the game was over at halftime. The game was over at halftime at 24-9, and then the game's definitely over going into the fourth quarter at 38-9. So not a good outing by the New England Patriots. Alrighty, so let's go back to the cash list. Stephon Diggs stays, and now we have to reevaluate Josh Allen, and I think we just did that, right? We just did that. 4 touchdowns, 320 yards, no turnovers. What more do y'all want to see from Josh Allen? I've seen all I needed to see. He's not turning the ball over. He's scoring touchdowns. He's putting up the points, and he's getting the ball to Stephon Diggs, his true weapons. Love to see it. So, yes, Josh Allen will stay on the cash list for another week. Alrighty, now we go to Aaron Jones. What did he do this week for the Green Bay Packers? He was the second leading rusher, 10 carries for 94 yards and no touchdowns. Who was the leading rusher for the Packers? A.J. Dillon, 21 carries, 124 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, we may see A.J. Dillon a little bit later in the show, but for right now, Aaron Jones is going to have to come off the cash list. Can't be cash if, your kind of counterpart, beats you a little bit. So, he comes off the list. Now we go to Ryan Tannehill. Ooh, not a good game by him. Nothing really was getting going. When the run game doesn't get going, we know Ryan Tannehill does not get going either. 11 of 24 for 121 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Very, very not good game by Ryan Tannehill here, and we are going to have to take that man off the cash list. Can't be giving, 2 turnovers and not even throwing for 200 yards. Come on, Ryan. I get it. He's out in the elements. A lot of players can play in the elements. I mean, if, the Bucks were in the elements, they lose. If the Saints were in the elements, like Ryan Tannehill was, they lose. A lot of teams, probably the only teams that won't flounder if they have to go to Green Bay and play them would be the Chiefs and the Bills, and they don't have to worry about that because, they're in the AFC. So, all right, let's keep going here. Dolphins running back committee. We had them on there a couple weeks ago because, no wide receivers, and they all kind of rushed for over 200 yards. So very well done by them. But this week, what do we got? Myles Gaskin, 14 carries for 87 yards. And then we got their second leading rusher, Clayton Fejadem? I've never even heard of that man. I never even knew that man's on the roster. 1 carry for 22 yards. So running back by committee, no. But Myles Gaskin, he had a good game. Not a cashless game, but a good game. So running back by committee for the Dolphins, unfortunately, kind of a one and done on the cashless, which was, what we kind of knew. Alrighty, now let's go to David Montgomery. The only reason why the Bears are having any success these past 3-4 weeks. So here we go. David Montgomery, 23 carries, 95 yards, and a touchdown. And now when we talk about David Montgomery, yes, his stat line is good, but let's look at Mitch Trubisky's stat line, because we know the run really opens up the pass, and we know that this Bears team really just focuses on the run a lot more than they do just having Mitch Trubisky throw the ball. So Mitch Trubisky went 24 of 35 for 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. The pick, absolutely unexcusable, but David Montgomery does a lot more than just run the ball. He opens up the passing game. Even against the bad Jaguars defense, Mitch Trubisky is still looking good because of David Montgomery. So we're going to leave that man on the list. Not only does he score the ball running the ball, not only does he put up a lot of yards running the ball, but he also puts up the yards and points on the passing game too, because he's making Mitch Trubisky easy. The run opens up the pass, folks. It's very, very true. Alrighty, so David Montgomery stays on the cash list for another week. Now let's go to DeAndre Hopkins. Oh boy. Well, I can tell y'all right now, we kind of said it, when we covered these games on Monday, whenever. I think we did these ones on Sunday because these were Saturday games. But anyway, the Cardinals, they put up 12 points, and y'all know what that means. That means that DeAndre Hopkins did not have a good game when the Cardinals did not put up a lot of points. So I think we have to take that man off. And now when we look at these stats, DeAndre Hopkins, 8 receptions for only 48 yards and no touchdowns. This is not a coincidence of the Cardinals putting up 12 points and DeAndre Hopkins only having 48 yards receiving, folks. It's not a coincidence. So, unfortunately for DeAndre Hopkins, not a good game for him, so he comes off the cash list. Alrighty, last player to kind of reevaluate here, Justin Herbert. Remember 2 weeks ago, he had the game-winning touchdown rush, extending the ball over the goal line, beating the Raiders in overtime. Very well done by him. But what did he do this week? Well, he had a pretty solid game. 21 of 33, 253 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Don't believe that man fumbled either. He did fumble, but didn't lose it, so we can kind of, forgive it a little bit. But a decent game by Justin Herbert. Nothing great. I mean, he threw for 253 yards and only 1 touchdown. So, unfortunately, good not cash game. So we take Justin Herbert off. And then, as I already said, Alvin Kamara, we already put him on here for his week's performance this week. So now, since we reevaluated everybody, now let's go to our additions, and we do have kind of a lot here. So let's jump right into it. And for the first additions, we are going to have to go to the Tampa Bay game. We got to go here, folks. Tom Brady played absolutely fantastic. Now I get it was against the Lions, who had, no coaches, basically, coaches out of positions or not even coaching at all. And Matt Stafford goes down, so everything was going right for this Bucs team right off the rip. But hey, we're not going to penalize teams for doing what they're supposed to do. Now, we won't, kind of overinflate their performances, but to go out there, do what you're supposed to do, finally, we can definitely appreciate it. So we are going to take 2 players from this Bucs team. I usually don't like doing that. I like to kind of accredit one person for doing everything, or, the majority of the work for the cash list, but we kind of got to do 2 here. The first one is going to be Tom Brady. 22 of 27, only 5 incompletions, and all this was in the first half, folks. He did not play in the second half at all. Didn't even take that first drive out of halftime. Nothing like that. So 22 of 27, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, no fumbles, doing absolutely fantastic work. So Tom Brady, welcome to the cash list. And I do kind of want to say that this may be his first time on the cash list all season. Maximum his second, but I do think it is his first. So very well done to Tom Brady. We'll put the date. I forget what date it was, so we'll put the date on there after the show. All right. So let's keep going here. The second player from this Bucks game is going to be the receiver that Tom Brady was throwing to a lot, Mike Evans. I mean, holy cow. 10 receptions for 181 yards and 2 touchdowns. Can definitely get behind that. Very well done. The connection between Tom Brady and Mike Evans, that's the only thing I've been wanting to see all season. I don't care about Tom Brady to, Rob Gronkowski, Tom Brady to Chris Godwin, Tom Brady to Antonio Brown. I don't care. I just want to see Mike Evans. That's all I care about. 6'5", goes up and gets the ball fast, 40, fast on his feet, great hands. That's all I care about. He was catching great balls, or he was just catching passes by Jameis Winston last season. Now you upgrade to Tom Brady. His stats should have been off the charts this season. So we are going to put Mike Evans and Tom Brady both on the cash list this week. Alrighty, the next addition to our cash list, we are going to go to the 49ers game. Now, you probably are thinking, what the heck could we even choose from that game? Well, we are going to give the nod to Jeff Wilson. I mean, look at this man on the ground. 22 carries for 183 yards. Yes, he didn't score any touchdowns, but that definitely made C.J. Beathard's game and day a little bit easier because Jeff Wilson ran for 183 yards and C.J. Beathard, the quarterback, threw for 182 yards. So the running back put up more yards, one more yard, than the quarterback did, which is, you really don't ever see that. So very well done by Jeff Wilson. He didn't score, but he made it easier for C.J. Beathard to score. I mean, C.J. Beathard threw 3 touchdowns, folks. Let's see kind of how long these touchdowns were. 21-yard pass to Jeff Wilson, so he caught a score. Didn't rush for a score, but he caught a score. The second touchdown coming, a 9-yard pass, so running the ball got him to that kind of 9-yard line for the score. And then the last touchdown here, 1-yard touchdown pass. So once again, Jeff Wilson getting, the 49ers down to that 1-yard line. So really, Jeff Wilson doing all the work here. Didn't get a lot of the credit for it in the points column, but we'll give him a lot of credit here with a cash list nod. Very well done to Jeff Wilson. Alrighty, let's continue on. All right, for our next edition, we got to go to Miami, folks. We got to go to Miami. I mean, and the nod is going to go to 2 players. Once again, we got to kind of attribute 2 players here. And the first one has got to be Ryan Fitzpatrick. He steps up in the fourth quarter, cold all game, hasn't played all game, and steps up 9 of 13, 182 yards, a touchdown, the game-winning touchdown, or the game-winning pass that went for like 35 yards, and then the 15-yard penalty on him. Absolutely fantastic. Now, was it luck or skill? I mean, I'm sure he'll tell you it was all skill, possibly a little bit of luck sprinkled in, but hey, who's going to turn down a little bit of luck? I won't. Give me luck. Give me luck. Luck over talent. I'll take luck. I don't care. So very, very well done to Ryan Fitzpatrick. He will be the first one added to the cash list. It wouldn't have been possible for the Dolphins to win that game last week if not for Ryan Fitzpatrick jump-starting that offense finally for the Dolphins, because it was kind of pathetic all day. And that's not knocking Tua. I'm not knocking Tua, y'all. It's just there's no weapons for the Dolphins. There's no weapons on the Dolphins, and there's definitely no weapons on the Dolphins that helps out a rookie quarterback at all. So well done, Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then the last addition, I mean, we got to give it to the person that actually scored the game-winning points, right? Even though that it was only 44 yards, kind of easy. I mean, it should be easy in any kicker's mind. But, we do have a trash list coming up, and we do have some kickers going on the trash list. So very well done to Jason Sanders. 44-yard game-winning field goal. Wouldn't have been possible without him, and he's been clutch for us all season. Even though, did he miss a field goal today in this game? I feel like he missed something. He didn't. Interesting. So, hey, perfect game by him, as well as the game-winning field goal, 4-4, and 2 of 2 on the extra point. So, Jason Sanders, well done, and welcome to the cash list. Alrighty. Here we go. The next games that we have to, or the next player, I should say, that we are going to add is going to come from the Chargers game. Who's going to be cash on the Chargers? Well, Justin Herbert had a good game, but, we just took him off of the cash list, so we're not going to put him back on. We would have kept him on there. But we got to give it to a game-winning field goal kick, kind of once again. 45 seconds left in the game, and he goes and scores a 37-yard field goal, and that's, the final score of the game. So very well done to Mike Badgley for the Chargers. And you may be wondering, he is on the trash list coming into this week. So very well done. From go to trash to cash in 1 week turnaround. That's what we love to see here. So very well done to Mike Badgley. Finally being cash, finally hitting, a fourth quarter field goal, because that's why he was on the trash list, because during that Raiders game, not hitting those 2 field goals in the fourth quarter that would have won them the game. Instead, they go into overtime, and then, they have to rely on Justin Herbert. So very well done, Mike Badgley. Alrighty. All right. The next one, we're going to go to Seattle and the Rams. Alrighty, let's give it up for the Seahawks defense. I mean, they held the Rams under 10 points. Whenever that happens, that needs to be applauded. Very well done by the Seahawks defense. That's who we're adding on the cash list. And not only did they hold the Rams to under 10 points, bending and not breaking, giving up only the field goals, a turnover by Jared Goff, an interception that came in the second quarter, and the Seahawks, offense scored points off of that. So well done. And did anybody fumble for the Rams? Nobody fumbled for the Rams, so they did have one takeover. And just look at all these sacks by the Seahawks and tackle for losses. What do we got here? 2 sacks by Jaron Reed. We got a sack by Alton Robinson, and the tackle for losses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just really blowing up everything for the Rams, getting the turnover and holding them to under 10 points. We can definitely give the Seahawks defense, a defense that we have been big on in the beginning of the year, and then they kind of, floundered a little bit, but now they finally found their groove. Jamal Adams is playing well. Everybody's playing well on the Seahawks defense, so very well done. We'll put them on the cash list. Alrighty, we do have more. We've got 3 more additions to the cash list, so let's continue on. The next addition is going to come from the Cowboys game, and I was very close to giving it to Andy Dalton. If he did not have that interception, I would have put Andy Dalton on this cash list for a 22 of 30 completion percentage, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns. But that one pick, man, and it came in the fourth quarter. I mean, it came in the third quarter, and, still giving the Eagles a little bit of life. So we couldn't excuse that interception, unfortunately, but we are going to give it to a wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys that went 6 receptions for 122 yards, but he scored 2 touchdowns. So we're giving it to Michael Gallup. Could have gave it to Amari Cooper. He had the same exact stats that, Michael Gallup had, but he didn't have the touchdown. So we're going to give it to Michael Gallup here. Alrighty, here we go. In the last set, we got 2 players here. It's going to come from the Packers game, and we got to give it up for A.J. Dillon. 21 carries, 124 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Give it to that man. What a running back. Aaron Jones, I mean, he still put up, 80 yards himself, but A.J. Dillon, I mean, 2 touchdown scoring and 24 yards? Something along those lines, looking very, very good. And not only did the running game work, the passing game worked too. And we're also going to add Devontae Adams, 11 receptions, 142 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So between these 2 Packers players, they combined 5 touchdowns. Got to put both of them on this cash list. Truly, truly, both of those players were cash. I mean, y'all are telling me they weren't? Alrighty. So that will do it for the cash list going into week 17. We've got Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, David Montgomery, Alvin Kamara, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Jeff Wilson, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jason Sanders, Mike Badgley, Seahawks defense, Michael Gallup, A.J. Dillon, and Devontae Adams. Congratulations to all those players for being cash this week. Very well done. Alrighty, now let's go to the bad side of the list, the side of the list that nobody wants to be on, the trash list. And we had 3 players on the trash list going into week 16. We had Mike Badgley, we had the Steelers offense, and we had Keke Coutee. So we'll go through, we'll reevaluate these 3 players, and then we got to make some additions. We've got a couple of them, folks. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 trash players. Not good. All right, so let's start at the top of the list. Mike Badgley, we just put him on the cash list. He's coming off the trash list, folks. Very well done. Kind of the game-winning field goal. Not a walk-off game-winning field goal, but 45 seconds left, under a minute. We'll count that as game-winning. And then, so he comes off the trash list. Now the Steelers offense did not look good in the first half, but they pulled it together. The receivers were making great catches. Big Ben wasn't turning the ball over. They were taking their shots down the field. They were kind of opening up the offense. They weren't just dinking and dunking anymore. The running game still wasn't getting going, but every receiver was making it work. Juju Smith-Schuster, number 1 wide receiver with 96 yards and a touchdown. Deontay Johnson, number 2 wide receiver for the Steelers, 75 yards and a touchdown. Chase Claypool, 3rd wide receiver for the Steelers, 54 yards, no touchdowns. Then we have Eric Ebron, 47 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, he was going to all of the weapons. The weapons were doing what they were supposed to be doing, and they put up how many points? 21 points in the second half. Very well done. 14 points in the fourth quarter. Once again, very well done. Getting it done when they needed it to. So I think we can finally say the Steelers offense is back a little bit. They definitely weren't trash last week. They might have not been amazing and may have even taken them to the second half to get everything going, but it finally showed up, and that's what we've been waiting for. So well done for the Steelers offense, no longer trash. Alrighty, so the last player on this trash list currently is Keke Coutee. He was on this trash list for fumbling on the 2-yard line against the Colts. Not good. So what did he do this week? Well, let's check it out. Texans versus the Bengals. Let's see what Keke Coutee did. 5 receptions, 54 yards, no touchdowns. Did he fumble? Did he turn the ball over? He did still fumble once. He didn't lose it, though. So I kind of guess we give the man a little bit of a free pass. And he also caught all of his targets. I mean, he was only targeted 5 times, and he caught all 5 for 54 yards. So with all that being said, it wasn't a good performance, but we're not going to count it as trash. But Keke Coutee, let this be known. We'll put you right back on this trash list. If you fumble again, we'll put you right back on. But hold on to that ball, my man. So we'll take Keke Coutee off the list. All right, so currently the trash list is empty, which is great. That means there's no trash in the league, but we do have additions, folks, and it's unfortunate. So here we go. The first one, we got some high-profile names on this list, folks, so don't come at me. All these players, unfortunately, were trash this week. I don't know what y'all want from me. So the first one, we're going to go to the Cardinals game. Very, very inexcusable. At home, I guess the 49ers were at home too, since, the Cardinal Stadium was kind of, their home stadium for the last 3 weeks. But that still doesn't excuse this person for playing very, very well, not very well. Very, very not well. The Cardinals offense, I mean, folks, come on. What the heck was that? 12 points. You're fighting for a playoff spot, and you still can't take advantage. Ooh, not great. So we are going to have to put Kyler Murray on the trash list, and it is unfortunate. 31 completions, 247 yards, that stinking dunk, no touchdowns. The interception came in the fourth quarter. Did he fumble as well? No, he did not fumble as well. But the interception, it did come in the fourth quarter, and it did come when they were driving, and it came in the red zone on the 49ers 14-yard line when they were only down 8 points. I mean, this was a one-score game. Yes, they needed the 2-point conversion, but it's still a 1-point game, and they're down 2nd and 11, down 8 points on the 49ers 14-yard line with 4 minutes and 42 seconds left, and Kyler Murray throws an interception. That's inexcusable. That's kind of trash when the game's on the line, the playoffs are on the line, and you still don't, score. I mean, we can't forgive that. And once again, he's still only going to DeAndre Hopkins to score points. Open up the offense a little bit more, Kyler Murray. He's got to do a little bit more here. So not a great performance by him. The interception in the fourth quarter, not stepping up his play to secure a playoff spot. We've got to put Kyler Murray on the trash list, unfortunately. He's got kind of one more week to prove himself, or he's going to be left on this trash list for the entire offseason. If a player ends on the trash list or on the cash list, they will stay on that list for the entire offseason, folks. It's kind of our cash and trash list kind of Hall of Fame. We leave them up on there. So Kyler Murray, hopefully, you can be better next week or get into the playoffs so, you can kind of get off the trash list. But Kyler Murray is trash for this week. All right, now we have to go to the Browns. The Browns game, and we're going to add two, folks. We're going to add two players here to the trash list. The first one that we have to get out of the way right now, it's got to be the head coach, Kevin Stefanski. What the heck is this game plan? I don't understand it at all. Okay, so the Browns, they had that COVID outbreak, close contact outbreak, and all the wide receivers were out this week. And Baker Mayfield, Kevin Stefanski, you still let Baker Mayfield, he's the one that's calling plays, folks. Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, he went and threw the ball 53 times with no wide receivers. Why would you do that? Especially with Baker Mayfield, who is a game manager quarterback. I wouldn't even be throwing the ball 53 times with like Tom Brady or Drew Brees if they have no wide receiver weapons. And you have a good running game, and you only ran the ball 15 times and it didn't work. I mean, what was this game plan? I don't get it. I guess you could say, oh, well, the Jets knew that all the Browns wide receivers were going to be out, so they were going to play the run. Okay, then make the runs a little bit more innovative and a little bit more confusing so you trick the Jets defense. That never came. It just never came. So passing the ball 53 times, I don't understand it. So Kevin Stefanski is going to be the first players from the Browns, or for the first person on the Browns that is on the trash list. We do have one more. Don't even know how you spell Stefanski, but we'll fix it in post. Alrighty. If that's how it is, I'm very impressed with myself. Alrighty, here we go. The last player, and I get it. It's not all his fault, but Baker Mayfield, we're going to have to put him on the trash list, and not because, his completion percentage and lack of touchdowns. That's not it. It's the fumbles, folks. He lost all 3 of his fumbles. That's him giving up the ball. That's not good. First fumble, Jets scored a touchdown off of it. The second fumble, the Jets score a field goal, so that's 10 points that Baker Mayfield gave up. And now when they still have one more chance to get it done, Baker Mayfield fumbles, and it's not accredited as a fumble loss, but it's still a fumble, and they still turn the ball over because it's turnover on down. So, in all aspects, it's still a turnover by Baker Mayfield. So 3 turnovers against this Jets defense. I mean, come on, you got to play a little bit better than that. Baker, you're going into the playoffs. Teams are going to be better than this Jets defense, and you've got to step it up. And this is, like the second time that we've seen, the Browns, Baker Mayfield fumbling the ball late in games on a quarterback sneak. We saw it against the Titans when they blew them out in the first half, and that fumble made it a one-possession game at the end of the day. And now the fumble here, it loses you the game. When you had one last chance, you were on the Jets 16-yard line. They pick up that first down. They could have potentially tied up this game, but we'll never know because Baker Mayfield turned it over. He cost his team 10 points. He gave the opponent teams 10 points. And Baker Mayfield, all the pressure was on you this week, and you did not step up, and that's not great going into the playoffs. So Baker Mayfield, he is going to have to be on this trash list as well. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. In the next one, we got to go to the Houston Texans. Houston Texans versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And once again, I'll probably get a lot of flack for this one, but Deshaun Watson, yes, he had a good game passing, but once again, when it comes down in the stretch in the fourth quarter, when they're down, points here, what are they down officially? They're down 3 officially. Only 3 points. That's it. With a minute and 57 seconds left, the Texans get the ball down 3. And what does Deshaun Watson do yet again? He fumbles the ball. He fumbled it on the 1-yard line against the Colts 3 weeks ago. He's doing it here against the Bengals. So yes, your game was good throughout the entire game. But when it comes down to the fourth quarter, when you win or lose the games, you lose the game. Unfortunate. So Deshaun Watson, untimely turnover here, and it's unfortunately going to have to make him trash for the week. So Deshaun Watson, not good. Can't keep seeing these turnovers by these quarterbacks, man. You're literally losing the game for your team. Not great. Alrighty, we've got 2 more. All right, the first one of the next 2 is going to come from the Colts game. And I cannot wait to put this man on the trash list because we've been right about this man the entire season. And then the 1 week that we go on him, he pulls exactly what we've been calling for that he's going to pull all season. So we got to put Phillip Rivers on the trash list. And I am going to take a little bit of joy doing this. The interception in second halves of games. Once again, we're talking about quarterbacks with turnovers at the worst time. Colts officially lost the lead in the second half, and Phillip Rivers has 7 minutes left to go. Plenty of time, down 4, and what does he do? A very lazy interception throw. I mean, it's 1st and 10, and just airs it out into double coverage, and there's no chance that the receiver can get it. Lazy play by Phillip Rivers. We see it time and time again. We saw it all the time last season. That's why the Chargers weren't good. I mean, the Chargers have all the talent that they kind of had last season. With this season, and Justin Herbert's looking better than Phillip Rivers here. So Phillip Rivers, you can't fool us forever. We knew it was going to come at some point, and it came at literally the worst time. You're now out of the playoffs. You have to kind of win and have some help in to get in. You do it against, the Steelers, who have been struggling for the past 4 weeks. I mean, literally, it's the perfect time for Phillip Rivers to do it. So we should have seen it coming, but we try to give the man the benefit of the doubt, and we see what happens when we do that. So Phillip Rivers, not only for a bad performance, but for making us look like clowns here on the show. We've been calling this literally all season, folks. All season. Phillip Rivers, officially trash. Alrighty. No, we do have 2 more. I lied. We have 2 more. So it was 3 more a couple seconds ago. All right. The next one is going to come from Washington. Now, you may be saying to yourself when I reveal this, oh, this one's unfair. Now you're just picking on this player. And I'm not, folks. He played this week. The trash list is a little bit of a week behind because, of when we do it and how we do it. So, Dwayne Haskins, he's got to be trash, folks. It's unfortunate. He didn't step up, and I know you're saying, oh, he's not on the team anymore, so he has no chance to, kind of redeem himself, and that's true. So we'll definitely take him off the trash list next week. But you still played this week, and we still have to evaluate you. It's unfortunate that you're not on the team anymore, but still, this is trash, folks. 14 of 28, 50% completion percentage when you needed to step up, this could have really kind of clenched them winning the division, and he's still not stepping up. 14 of 28, 50% completion percentage, 154 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And I think he had a fumble. Let me double check that. He had a fumble loss, so 3 turnovers by this man while also putting up no points himself. Dwayne Haskins is truly trash. We see it. Not only do we know he's trash, but we kind of get verified that he's trash because Washington just cut him, not even at the end of the season. Couldn't even give the man, a full season here. Cut him right before week 17. So, Dwayne Haskins, officially trash. Alrighty, and then the last addition to this trash list, we got to go to Atlanta and Kansas City, and this is maybe one of the most disappointing trash list people I have to put on the trash list, folks. I mean, I kind of praise this man a lot. I praise this man a lot as a kicker, but we've got to do this one. Younghoe Koo. What the heck was this, folks? Matt Ryan gets you into field goal range, a chip shot field goal for Younghoe Koo. Younghoe Koo has made like 10 50-plus yard field goals this season. I think he's actually perfect from 50 yards out, and now he has a chance to tie up the games against the best team in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs. And what does the man do? He misses a 39-yard field goal. Now, the only explanation I can come up with is Younghoe Koo. He's used to Matt Ryan being so trash and not being able to kind of move the ball in opponent's territory. That's why Younghoe Koo has so many 50-yard field goals. So now he has to go in short. He's like, I've got no practice here. I've never been this close. Matt Ryan has never gotten me this close to the field goal. I don't know, 39 yards. What's the trajectory like? I've never taken a 39-yard field goal this season because I'm always 55 yards back. But no excuses here. 39 yards, folks. That's got to be automatic. 40 yards has to be automatic. 50 yards has to be automatic. 55 inwards, I'm telling y'all, has to be automatic from a kicker. And Younghoe Koo, I mean, he flounders at the biggest time. When they have a chance to tie up the best team in the NFL, defending Super Bowl champions, I mean, Atlanta Falcons has so many kind of blown wins, they could have came back from behind a little bit. I mean, and they still kind of blew this lead. I think they were up 14-7 at one point. They were up 14-10, so blew a little bit of a lead, but still, Younghoe Koo, truly, truly unacceptable, truly, truly disappointing, truly. Younghoe Koo, unfortunate. Alrighty, so the trash list going into Week 17 is going to be Kyler Murray, Kevin Stefanski, Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, Phillip Rivers, Dwayne Haskins, and Younghoe Koo. How unfortunate for those players. Got to get off next week, folks, if they want to have a chance to not be on the trash list for the entire offseason. Alrighty, so now let's go to our power rankings. Since we've seen every team play this week, we can now kind of move our power rankings, who's better than some teams, so who needs to go up, who needs to go down, and who needs to come into the list, because I'll tell y'all right off the rip, we've got three teams all falling out, so we've got to add 3 more teams on this list, 3 new teams. So we'll start from 10, work our way up to number 1. So let's start here at new number 10 team. The Rams are officially out of the top 10, folks. We've taken them out. We dropped them for losing against the Jets to number 10, and then we just dropped them again because this offense, folks, it's not a great offense. 9 points. I guess, I do know that Seattle's defense is very good, but still the offense, you're playing in a tough division, a tough conference, and you're trying to make the playoffs, and you still only put up 9 points. Can't trust Jared Goff. Can't trust them. So unfortunate there. So Rams are now out, and our new number 10 team is going to be the Tampa Bay Bucks. I mean, yes, they played absolutely fantastic last week against the Lions, but let's kind of, take it with a grain of salt there. That's why we're kind of moving the Bucks into that 10 spot. They did what they needed to do, fantastic, and they kind of blew away my expectations. And so we're going to give them credit for winning, but we're not going to give them too much credit for winning against the Lions, who, as we all know, their coaches were all over the place. It was kind of like a coach's shuffle. Somebody took all the coaches, shuffled the deck. All right, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here. All right, you out, you're out, you're out, you're out, you're out. And then you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here. I mean, we had like research and analysis people coaching defense. It's bizarre. So, yes, the Bucks did good. We're not going to credit them too much for beating a Lions team, but Tom Brady looked good, Mike Evans looked good, Chris Godwin looked good, Rob Gronkowski looked good, and Antonio Brown looked good, and that's all we need to see looking good at the end of the season. It may have taken them a while to get on the, the power rankings here, but hey, better late than never, and they're getting hot at the right time, so hopefully they can kind of carry that over to Week 17 into the playoffs, because I would like to see Tom Brady, make a decent push for, playoffs, talking about, Tom Brady and the Patriots dynasty, arguing about that 10 years down the line. I can get behind that, especially if Tom Brady wins a Super Bowl this year. It would be crazy for that kind of discussion of who gets more credit, Tom or Bill. It'll be fun to have in 5-7 years down the road if Tom Brady can make, a huge splash here in this playoffs. So Bucks at 10. Alrighty, new number 19. We're not knocking the Dolphins off, but you'll see where we put them in a second. So number 9, new number 9 team is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Folks, yes, this team had a little bit of offensive troubles like 3 straight weeks. Can we all relax? I mean, we all talk shit about teams in the early season, but they get free passes for some reason. Why are we giving the Bucks kind of a free pass? I haven't really seen anybody bash the Bucks all season, folks. And everybody's real quick to bash the Steelers because they were 11-0 and finally had bad games. So the offense gets back on track. We dropped them out of the top 10 because of, their offensive woes, but they finally got them back. The Steelers defense is getting healthier. These receivers are not dropping passes anymore. Big Ben's arm, kind of got a little bit of momentum, a little bit of rhythm in that game. Look for the Steelers in week 17. We have them above the Bucks because I think I rely on this offense a little bit more, even though they kind of got out of their slump. And I like the Steelers defense better than the Bucks defense. I think if the Steelers offense once again struggles, which is definitely a possibility, this Steelers defense can kind of take over and keep the game close. Now, where the Bucks, if their offense struggles, their defense really doesn't bail them out. That's why they have 5 losses already this season. So love the Steelers. Love to see them kind of get back on track. They were only kind of good in the second half, so we kind of have to take them slowly again. That's why we're only putting them at 9 and not any higher. But, the Steelers back on track. Absolutely love it. Steelers at 9. Alrighty, new number 8 team. Oh, I can't wait. Colts, you're out. You're out of the top 10, and hopefully you're out of the playoffs, so Phillip Rivers can finally retire, and I can be right about the man. So Colts are out of the top 10. Gives me pleasure saying that. Gave me pleasure putting that man on the trash list. And now the new number 8 team, we're gonna move the team up a spot. We're gonna put the Miami Dolphins. Now this defense is the best defense in the league. I don't even know if it's an argument anymore. Maybe Seattle a rising, but Dolphins best defense in the league. I think we're comfortable saying that now. Now the offense, it definitely struggles. I don't think anybody's doubting that. But once again, I'm putting the Dolphins kind of lower on our top 10 because we love their defense. The defense kind of keeps all the games close, even against the Raiders when they gave up 10 points in the fourth quarter. They were still keeping it close all game. It just we needed a spark offensively, and we did finally get it. So that kind of gives the Dolphins promise a little bit. That it struggled, but hey, the potential is there for that Dolphins offense. So with that being said, we love this Dolphins defense. The offense does struggle a little bit, here and there. So we got to kind of keep this Dolphins team a little bit lower on our power rankings until, if Tua can go out and throw 350 yards and no turnovers and really air it out during the games and have the receivers catch it. Devontae Parker's healthy. That definitely will help the Dolphins as well. But we still love this Dolphins defense. And, against any other team, against really any team, I think the Dolphins can hold and be a close game, competitive game. We saw it against the Chiefs because of their defense. Really just got to shore up that offense. And until they do that, they really probably won't go higher than 8. Alrighty, then we got a new number 7 team, and this one is truly unfortunate. We are going to have to knock the Browns out of the top 10, and I know you're probably thinking, oh, that's unfair because they had no wide receivers. And, if they just lost because they had no wide receivers, I would agree with y'all. But it's once again, we're seeing Baker Mayfield fumble the ball, fumble it in the fourth quarter at the worst time. We were right about Phillip Rivers finally, so we're kind of going to take this Browns team with even more grain of salt because we know this. We're seeing Baker Mayfield over and over and over again fumbling the ball and doing it at the worst time. So yes, they're still good. They'll probably be 11 or 12 outside looking in, but for right now we got to move them out until Baker Mayfield can start playing clean games of football without weapons. How are you looking without weapons and Baker Mayfield is struggling? So unfortunate. Alrighty, so with that being said, the new number 7 team is going to be the New Orleans Saints. I think they're getting hot at the right time. Alvin Kamara cannot be stopped. 6 touchdowns. That's pathetic. That is truly pathetic to give up defensively. Shame on the Vikings. Truly shame on them. So the offense is getting, back on track. Taysom Hill still working. They ran a couple of gadget plays with him. He ended up scoring a touchdown. Drew Brees is looking okay. Not looking the best. 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, and the arm was was a little bit off, a little wonky in that game. But overall, the Saints defense was holding a little bit. The Saints offense, they've got weapons everywhere. So, if Drew Brees is throwing, 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, they could ride Alvin Kamara. And if they do, God forbid, need to make the switch to Taysom Hill, I think they can get that done as well. So Saints defense definitely needs to be shored up just a little bit. I mean, giving up 33 points to the Vikings, that's kind of inexcusable as well. But it was kind of, Christmas Day game, a lot of factors going into that. So the offense is still good. The defense I still think is very solid. So we put the Saints at 7. Alrighty, Packers no longer number 6, but they will be moving up. All right. The new number 6 team is going to be the Tennessee Titans. Now, we are going to kind of penalize them for losing against the Packers and in the fashion that they did, but we're still believing in this Titans team. They do kind of bounce back pretty decently well, so, I don't expect, this kind of be the downfall of the Titans, and I kind of hinted at it and kind of said it during when we were doing the cash and trash list that, the Titans were in the elements, folks. If you put, the Bucks, in the elements against the Packers, they lose. You put the Steelers in the elements against the Packers, they may not lose, but it will be definitely a close game. The Dolphins, you put them in the elements against the Packers, they lose. You put the Saints in the elements against the Packers, they lose. Titans, we just saw they lose. Ravens, I don't know how they would fare. I would say it would be probably a close game, and they do know cold weather in Baltimore, but they do run the ball a lot more, so Ravens may have success. Seattle, once again, kind of may have success, but it's definitely going to be a close game. Bills, Kansas City Chiefs are really the only 2 teams that I think could beat the Packers or kind of be competitive with the Packers if it came down to, a blizzard game in the elements. Now, luckily for the Bills and Chiefs, they don't have to do that because if they face the Packers, it's going to be in Tampa Bay on a neutral field. They don't because they're in the AFC. So I don't think it's just the Titans that would have struggled in that situation against the Packers. It's unfortunate because the Titans were the ones that had to go and play that game. So we still love this Titans team. I still love the camaraderie. Mike Vrabel is going to have this team ready to go in the playoffs. Derrick Henry is still good. He still almost ran for 100 yards himself, which, individually that game for him was very good. Ryan Tannehill, not so much, and that's kind of what we know. When the running game isn't as good as it could be, Ryan Tannehill flounders a little bit. And, in the elements, we kind of see that as well. So, still liking this Titans team. The defense kind of got beat a little bit. The offense couldn't get anything going. But, we think the elements had to play had a big play in that result for the Titans 2 nights ago. What was it, Sunday Night Football? So, we're not ready to bail on this Titans teams yet. We'll put them at number 6. Alrighty, number 5, and we're going to leave the Ravens here at number 5. Good, solid win against the Giants last week. Really don't know what to do with this team. I don't want to drop them down, any because, they're still one of the better teams in the league. The running attack is fantastic. Lamar Jackson, kind of resorting back to under 200 yards, which we know was going to happen. But still, this Ravens defense is good. The Ravens offense is good. The running game is good. Everything's real good about this Ravens team. They just kind of beat up, the Giants a little bit. Not a huge, great win. A solid win, I would say. Daniel Jones back. He still kind of looked decent in that game. So really couldn't move the Ravens here anymore because really the top 4, I mean, they're better than the Ravens, I would say. So Ravens kind of have to stay at this 5 seed even though they won the game, unfortunately. Alrighty, new number 4 team. No longer the Seattle Seahawks. We are going to move the Packers back up into the situation. We kind of saw the Packers, kind of our one knock on them is, they don't kind of finish games all the time, or they'll have some good quarters and just kind of that will be it. In their 3 losses, that's kind of what it was. Aaron Rodgers still played good, but just maybe one quarter or some drives and they kind of fall off for the rest of the game. So we still have this kind of knock on the Packers. Now they kind of definitely proved us wrong, against the Titans. They were good from the start to the finish, putting up the points, putting up the yards, having Aaron Rodgers do it. The ground game did it. I mean, literally everything was great for the Packers last week. So, with that, definitely kind of made our kind of knock on the Packers, kind of our one red flag on the Packers come down a little bit, maybe be a little bit less red. But, it's still there, and it's still something that we have to keep in the back of our minds, kind of like we did with Phillip Rivers and kind of like what we're doing with Baker Mayfield. Not as much as we're going to kind of put stake into this Packers team, but it is still there. They played very well this week, and we can move them up to number 4, because when Aaron Rodgers is 100% and everything's going right and the running game is good and he's throwing it to Devontae Adams, we see what they can do. It's kind of unstoppable a little bit. So we can move the Packers up to number 4. Alrighty, we move the Titans down a little bit, so they are no longer the number 3 seed, but the new number 3 team is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. Their defense is getting shored up. Love to see that. And the offense kind of was doing good in the second half against the Rams. They put up 2 touchdowns, I believe, in the second half. Very, very well done. Getting the points. I mean, DK Metcalf had a decent game. I think he was the leading wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. Am I bugging? I am not bugging. 6 receptions, 59 yards. Yeah, he didn't have, a classic DK Metcalf monster game, but he still did everything that he needed to do to secure a Seahawks win, so we can definitely get behind that. Yeah, 2 touchdowns in the second half. Let's see how kind of long these touchdowns were. 7 plays, 4 minutes, 30 seconds. All right, decent touchdown there. And then once again, 9 plays, 4.5 minutes as well. So their defense steps up big. Love their defense. Held the Rams under 9 points. Very well done. They got their offense going in the second half. So watch out for the Seahawks come down the stretch. And in the first round of the playoffs, they locked up that division title. So well done by them as well. Just closing out the season, looking good. Everything shoring up. And that's exactly where you want to be. Week 16, shoring everything up. So Seahawks at number 3. All right, the last 2, we got to keep them like this. Bills at 2 and Chiefs at number 1. I mean, folks, this Bills offense is probably the best offense, just individually the best offense that is in the top 10, even probably better than the Kansas City Chiefs in totality, their offense. So love what Josh Allen's doing, getting the ball to Stephon Diggs and letting that man work. Not turning the ball over. The defense is holding teams. I mean, they just held the Patriots offense to under 10 points as well. The Patriots offense is a little worse than the Rams offense, so we're not putting too much stake into that Packers or the Bills defense, even though it's still very good. So everything about the Bills, I'm absolutely loving it. Josh Allen's playing out of his mind. I never even thought he would get to this level of play, like even, not even in his 4th year, but in his like 9th, 10th, 13th year. I never expected Josh Allen to play this well. So the fact that he's doing it, well done to him. Very well done, very well done by the Bills. Now, I'll tell you why I had the Chiefs at number 1. They're 14-1, folks. They do not lose games. Yes, they're in some close games, but I'd rather you win a couple of close games than have a ton of blowout games, kind of like the Bills are having. They're just blowing teams out, which I love. I mean, I'm not knocking you for blowing out a team, but you don't have that adversity yet. So when we get into the playoffs and games start going awry and things aren't going to, your schedule or your game plan, how are they going to react? We don't have a lot of tape of the Bills on that, whereas the Chiefs, we do have a lot of games, the Chargers game, this Falcons game, waiting to the last second to score, taking all game to score for everything to really come together, but they shore up their defense. I mean, they don't get blown out in those games that are close. They, the defense is doing their job. All right, we're holding you. It's just the offense maybe sputters a little bit sometimes, but at the end of the day, they find ways to win, and that's why we love this Kansas City Chiefs team. Now, they also kind of blow out teams. They can score real quick. They can put up 17 in like 3 minutes, folks. Score, get a nice 3 and out, score again in a minute, get another 3 and out, or get a turnover because you're like, oh my God, they just put up 14 points in a matter of a minute. Oh my goodness, they fumble the punt, they muff the punt, another 3 and out, they can't get anything going, and then they're ready to score again. The Bills, they really can't do that. I mean, they can do it. I mean, Josh Allen, I would say, has the potential to do it, but this Chiefs team, they do it on a game-to-game basis. They do it they're doing it basically every game, folks. When they score in bunches, or they're kind of, in a close game. So either way, the Chiefs are getting good experience. They know how to blow out teams, and they know how to win close games. So that's why the Chiefs are number 1, and the Bills are number 2. Alrighty, that is going to do it for us today, folks. We'll be back tomorrow with our Wednesday film study, my favorite day of the week, my favorite topics to do, and I'll tell y'all right now, what games are we going to be looking at? Probably not any of these games. We may look at 49ers and Cardinals a little bit. I do kind of want to look at this Dolphins defense a little bit. A couple of penalties I didn't love, so maybe we'll go over those a little bit. Chargers, Broncos, probably nothing there. Browns, Jets. We'll look at Baker Mayfield's fumbles. Got to keep tabs on those. We'll probably watch Des Bryant's touchdown catch because that's always fun to watch. We're going to be watching heavy Bengals. I don't even know how much we're going to watch. We're going to kind of watch as much as we need to see. I mean, this man had himself a game, Brandon Allen. 8 incompletions and still threw for 371 yards. I want to see this man play. What else do we got to watch? I'm not going to watch Mitch Trubisky, folks. I'm over that man. What else we got to watch? We'll probably watch Phillip Rivers imploding a little bit in the Steelers defense. We'll probably watch Dwayne Haskins' last plays as a quarterback in the NFL. We'll watch Dallas a little bit because they put up a lot of points. We'll probably watch Green Bay a little bit because they also put up a lot of points. And I think this is the week that we finally watch Josh Allen. I say that we're going to watch him every week and then we don't have time, or it's just we have other things that we need to talk about. So I think we finally watch some Josh Allen this week as well. So that all that's coming up tomorrow on the show, noon Eastern, twitch.tv/takesbyfans. Alrighty, we're out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We're back tomorrow. Takes by Fans, baby. That's us.